Doing a quick startup video. Shouldn't take more than about 12-15 minutes. There's a ton of videos out there showing startups and stuff. I always see missing, though, is kind of a sequential order to what they're doing. I know they're following checklist or best practices, but I always see them going top, left, right. They're kind of bouncing all over the place in the cockpit. So I'm going to show you the way I do it. Everything I do is clockwise from back left all the way up forward, up across the UFC, the DDIs, and PCD, and then back down the right side all the way aft. Just continuing doing that clockwise circle. I'm going to be showing a full startup, including initial loadout, getting the engines online, weapon profiles and selections, laser codes, the IFE setup for bingo, time, getting the FCS set up, running bit tests, aligning the navigation, getting your radar set up, setting the QFE or QNH, depending on what you're supposed to do, the radar altimeter, getting some my personal lighting configurations done, and that will be that. So, to start out, first thing you want to do is pull out the load-up menu and select your loadout. So it's ground crew, rearm, refuel, pulls everything up here. I'm just going to select a few things here real quick. So aim 9, a 120, a center line. This is kind of a standard training loadout for me. Puts a little weight on the aircraft, a little bit of drag. Helps out. You can select your chaff and flare, gun ammo, if you want tracers or not. Your fuel amount. There are some pre-selected loadouts in here. You can choose those if you want. I never do. Your board number and skin if you want to. Once you get your loadout, double check everything, make sure it's what you want. You can hover over what you've loaded to make sure, and then click OK.
Request rearming. Copy.
So you can hear they're going through that. Usually there wouldn't be any power on the jet, nobody inside the cockpit or anything like that. But to save time, we're going to go ahead and throw the battery switch on, do our fire test A and B. So right click for A.
Engine fire left. Engine fire left. Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
Alright, so this is not required by any means, so you don't have to do it if you want to.
Rearming
I always
complete.
do. This is one of the big things we had to go through when we got low power qualled with
Engine
VFA
fire
102 in Lemoore, California.
Engine
and Super
fire
Hornet
left.
this is one of the things
Engine
you had
fire
to do.
right.
So I
Engine
just got to
fire
have
right. APU
it. Takes about
fire.
10 seconds to do the whole thing.
APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
Alright, so we've got our power on. I'm going to go left through right. O-Bogs is off. These are just kind of the pre-startup checks. I go ahead and turn my RWR down a little bit. You want to make sure your lights are off. Switches in the aft position. You can go ahead and set your lighting configuration to whatever you want. Strobes, bright, low, however you want to set that up. External ground power should all be in the off position. Field bypass, we'll get to that in a minute. You want to make sure that your flaps are down full. They do dip while the aircraft is off, so you want to make sure you match that and don't clunk anybody in the head during startup. Your backup ADI is caged, radar altimeter set to 0. Both your right and left generators are on, bleed air is to norm. Pitot heat's auto, engine ice is off, all lights are off or dim, and our nav and radar are both set to off. Alright, so check's done real quick on that. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the APU, so turn that on. I'll go ahead and close the canopy at this point because we've got to wait a minute or two, well, actually about 45 seconds for that to start up. And you'll hear it kick off, and then you'll see a green light. As soon as we've got the green light, let's go ahead and fire up the right engine. So we're going to go engine crank to right. Now we're going to be watching our IFE for 15 to 18 RPMs. There's 15, so we'll go ahead and move the throttle off the detent. And you'll see our temperature's climbing. Fuel flows should be going up a little bit. RPM still climbing through 30. At 38, you should hear the engine kick off. There it goes. Alright, temp's going up and up and up and up. Fuel flow should settle. And our RPM should land right around 65, 66. That's good. Our IFE's up. Time is good.
Roll left. Roll left.
Alright, that engine's good. So starting on the left,
Flight controls.
make sure all the switches are still the
Flight
same.
controls.
Nothing here, no changes needed there. We're going to go ahead and turn on our DDIs. So right click twice on both DDIs. I'll go ahead and turn my HUD on. Black level to full. And then your MPCD to full. Going down the right side, we are going to cycle our bleed air clockwise. Click it 4 times to the right mouse button. You'll hear the bleed air kick on there. Going to go ahead and turn our nav to ground, radar to standby, and I go ahead and turn my mode to night, just so I can see the green up here. It's not as buggy to me. So let's go ahead and crank the left engine now. Watching our IFU again for 15 to 18 on the RPM. Go ahead and move it off to D10 at that time. There's 16, 17. Alright, temperature fired up. Should slowly rise. Again, right around 38, 39, you should hear the engine kick off. There it goes. Climbing up, we're looking at the RPMs to match. 65, 66. Temperature should be dropping back down. 6 and 6. Alright, we're even across the board, so we've got everything started up. So going back left and going around to the right clockwise, we're going to turn the O-Bogs on. We're going to go ahead and turn our APU off. That will automatically shut off, so you don't really have to worry about that. Light switch forward to turn it on. Going to go ahead and go hook bypass to field since we're on the ground station. Anti-skid on since we're on the ground. Flaps to half. IFU we're going to leave alone for right now. We're going to come up to the left MFCD and select the FCS. Okay, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and hit the master caution button once and then twice to reset all of our warning codes. And then back here, we're going to click our FCS reset button to clear out these last 2 aileron and flap controls. Those are set. Going back to the left and starting over. We're going to set our trim. Hold that down for a couple of seconds. You should see your stabs go to 12 degrees. If you're on the boat, this would be a good time to go ahead and adjust your takeoff. AOA here, 16 for less than 44,000 pounds. And there's a bunch of stuff out there going 16, 17, or 18 degrees depending on your weight. So left DDI is done. We're going to go ahead and move this over to the stores page. We're going to continue around to the right. I go ahead and set my comms at this time. So if you know a specific frequency or preset you need to be on, that's when I go ahead and set those. Set your volumes if you want here. And then moving on to the right DDI, we're going to go to the FCS-MC page. And then holding down this OSB5 button and this FCS bit right here, we're going to click the FCS bit up and then hit our FCS button. You'll see it moves to in test. This takes about 30 seconds. So moving down to the right, we're going to uncage our backup ADI, set our radar altimeter for the beach, which is 450. Right about there. Alright, so our FCS bit is done. I'm going to go ahead and select the radar page just to get ready for that. I'll go ahead and turn the defog all the way down because I hate listening to it. Set my lighting up. Nav's good. FLIR we don't need. Your secure radio, you can go ahead and set it at this time if you've already pre-briefed it. If not, wait for lead, and he'll tell you when to do that. Since we're over here on the right, I do my lights test, which takes me all the way back around to the left. So looking for all of my caution and warning lights to be lit up. All the way around, coming back down to the left for my APU lights. So that's all. So going around left to right again, let's just catch up. O-Box is on. Volumes for the radios are set. APU's off. FCS reset's already been done. External tanks to norm. Lights are on. Throttle's at idle. External power's off. Launch bar's up. Flaps at half. Landing taxi light. We'll turn that on prior to taxi. Anti-skid's on field for the hook bypass. Parking brake is still set. IFU, let's go ahead and set our bingo. So you just hold this up arrow for a few seconds. Take it up to whatever you want to. We'll do 3,000 for this one. Also in here, if you go down to zone, you can switch your time from local to Zulu. Or you can go in through your mode and you can set up different qualifiers here. So you can set your time, you can set however you want to do it that way. Quantities, this shows your individual tank levels left and right, external tanks, total fuel load. Okay, so going up to the left, let's go ahead and get our stores done. All we have is our AIM-9s and 120s, so there's nothing to select. If we had ground ordnance, you would select the ground ordnance, which is going to be starting up here, going left to right across this top MSCD. Select that. You can select your CCIP, auto drop, anything you need to select. This time I'll go ahead and set my tack in, so let's just say it's 15. I don't turn it on. I won't turn it on until I get to the end of the runway. So go ahead and set that, set my ILS if there is one. When data link comes up, I would go ahead and set my data link codes up here. To do that, it's in the mids radio section here. Once they implement this fully, you would come in here and set up your data links. All of these, your voice A, voice B, friend or foe, 1 and 2, all of that will get set up at that time. Moving on to the radar, it's still in standby, but I go ahead and set it to 4 bar at 40 miles. That's just my standard. I don't mess with anything else. If you want to declutter it, you can go to data. Your declutters will tick off different things. I put it on declutter 1. Up here in the top right hand corner it says 16. I changed that to 8. What that does is it leaves the marker on the radar screen for that many seconds. So I just go ahead and do that. I'm comfortable with 8. That's what I like. That's what I use. Choose whatever you would like. Going down the right side, we're going to jump over to the left real quick. We're going to go ahead and select our dispenser to on, ECM to standby. We're going to turn on our RWR, which is this little button right down here. That'll fire up. We'll go ahead and run the bit. Alright, all that's good. I'll go ahead and switch my map mode to get rid of the map itself. We've got our waypoints. If you want to enter manual waypoints or change anything, you go to data, UFC to enter your waypoints. Use your selections over here. Set your sequence, add. You can add waypoints, you can delete waypoints, set them up in the 3 different sequences you have. All of that's there. Going back to the main HSI, you can see that our ground nav has completed. 0.5 and OK. So following back down the right side, just checking everything else again. Lights are good, defog's good. We're going to go ahead and switch that to nav. And then we're going to set up our final DDI. So let me go through the cockpit one more time. Mids is good, OBOG's on, lights on, flaps are at half, ground power is off, recovery is good, parking brakes on, master arms safe, air to air, air to ground not selected. Let's go ahead and set up our MFCD for our HSI, just for our departure. Radios are set. Radar altimeter if you need to. Going down, I turn the time UFC off because I don't want to see it on my HUD. Going to the right DDI, it's in standby for our radar. Backup ADI is uncaged. Let's go ahead and set our QNH, so our field elevation, let's say it's 100 feet. Just roll this up, looking at the HUD, you'll see 2997. Gets us to our runway elevation. If you set that to 0, it'll be good when you're up past, 12, 15,000 feet. When you come back into land, you want to know what the aircraft, or what the runway landing is to get set for that. Hooks up. Wings are out and locked, verified. And defog, lights. Engine ice is on, standby, nav. Alright, we now have a green jet. So as you can see, everything I did was starting back here, going left to right, all the way around the full cockpit. Everything's fired up. Only took, 13 minutes to get it fully started up. If you have any specific questions, go ahead and put them in the comments for the video, and I'll try and get back. I don't know a lot about the Legacy Hornet. I worked on the Supers for a couple of years. Don't know a whole lot about the Legacies, but a lot of the things are similar. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And thanks everybody for watching. You guys have a great day.